Welcome back to Veronica Live, and I'm here with John Salak, and now it's our roundup. I'm trying to come up with the best name for when we talk politics. Should it be like the afterburner? I don't know. I'm still working on the name, John. You got to help.
Okay.
This is when we talk about everything this week, which was mad chaos. But off air, we were talking about the Renaissance French restaurant. Oui, ooh la la.
Yeah,
because
it's like. Is it a good thing that that it's being promoted? And then
I
you
know
can't
I
get a
really
reservation
shouldn't
for
share
6 months?
because I do have people that follow me just based on my food because I'm a food influencer, and I always say I love 30A because you get the 5-star experience and the food's normally wonderful, and then the only other places that I get amazing food is in Vegas and then New York at the level I like, and I like great service, And that filet mignon with the peppercorn, the poivre sauce was to die for. And if you've ever had Wagyu, which is like some of the most expensive meat on the planet, yep. it literally, I could have used a plastic knife. It cut so easy. And that I was, so I've been dreaming about and it was awful because after I went there, I literally couldn't stop thinking about the blue cheese, the peppercorn steak, and then, and then that coffee dessert, because I don't like coffee ever in desserts, but it was just a hint. And it was just that layered cake that you get in Europe. And oh my gosh, I was drooling talking with the chef today. So, and I think he liked our interview.
Yeah, when you talked about peppercorn fillet, I'm like, that's my favorite thing.
Well, and there's a truffle sauce. I mean, because normally when I go to Vegas, I will get all three. I eat often at Mon Ami Gabi. It's across from the Bellagio in the Paris. It's a French restaurant, and I normally order the filet, and then I order all 3 sauces, and then I'm like, bring me your biggest baguette back there, and I'm dipping. There's not any sauce left when I leave. So, I'm a sauce person.
Okay, enough about food. I'm getting hungry.
I know. I'm going to have to do a Chick-fil-A run because I'm starving today, and I've been working out 3 times a week, and it's just, I'm like, all I want is food now. It's like, I'm about to eat, I don't know. I need a big T-bone today. But anyways, there's been a lot that's happened this week. Sheer insanity with these protesters. I mean, it was riveting TV, John. You're on these college campuses. It's out of control. They're screaming at Jewish people. They beat up that one Jewish girl. I don't know if you saw. She ended up with
her and beat her up.
A terrible concussion, didn't recognize her parents. And then when they were going into Columbia, I was literally mortified. I mean, they had a cherry picker kind of thing. All of these, they were in their tactical pants. And X, so I had the news on, and then X Spaces is literally amazing. There's some hosts on there. One's Nick, and he was going live. All these guests were coming all night long. I listened to them. They followed the stuff live all night long. I listened to on X. And where are these governors? Where are these mayors? They're absolute incompetence.
Let's start with we're being manipulated, okay? And by the press and by these radical protesters. And the Columbia thing was particularly telling, and I was watching it because you know how Fox News gets in there and they keep looping the same video over and over and over. Okay, so it gets boring after 5 minutes. But I was watching it, and something caught my eye about the video where they were showing the door, that they were showing the jackbooted thug out there with his head wrapped, and then you notice they all have masks, right? Because you just want to reach up and rip that damn mask off their face so you can see who they are. But they were standing outside the door with a hammer beating on the window to break the glass. Now here's the funny part, okay? All the video, all the cameras and press was inside the building on the other side of that door while the idiot was hammering on the glass. And he broke the glass, 2 panes of glass, and never reached in through the window to open the door. The door was already unlocked, okay? Because they opened the door, the girl opened the door from the outside and rushed in so that the cameras could follow her running down the hall. It was all staged. Every bit of it was freaking staged. And I'm like, this isn't some kind of organic protest over anything. We're being manipulated with these videos. So everybody knew what this idiot was going to do with the hammer. He was intentionally destroying that window. They had no reason to break it. And yet that's what the video, because that's the message they wanted to send.
But do you know that parents are paying $90K a year for these kids to go to Columbia? And then this shiz is happening. I mean, USC's canceled their graduation. I mean, I've gone bananas on X with this.
But
with
look at Columbia,
and then the trash they left at UCLA. Did you see the trash?
Yeah, that's the way they always operate. I mean, the Wall Street thing was the same way. It was this disgusting encampment. All the stuff they did through the summer of love, all of that stuff they left garbage piles behind that had to be cleaned up by people, because it's just the way they are. Conservatives, go to a conservative rally, and after this conservative rally is over, look and see how much garbage is on the ground. You know how much is on the ground? None, because conservatives pick up their trash. Mm-hmm. The radicals don't.
And they've been showing all the people that have been arrested, and many are just professional protesters, and they're people that you and I would not hire, because they've got green hair, nose rings, they're tatted up. There was some older, she was probably like 40, they were trying to take her mask off, and she's like fighting the cop, don't show my face, and I'm like, screw you all.
I thought that was great. Was it New York where they were actually taking the videos? They're taking the mask off.
So the cops were doing a great job. Yeah. They seemed competent, but it was weird, because I went and looked, because I follow Governor Hochul and Mayor Adams on X, and she had done a canned statement, that I support law enforcement, and because normally she's the first one with her lipstick to run out in front of the camera, and no, she had to do a tape statement, and then Mayor Adams too, so I'm like, what? And then nothing from frickin' Newsom, nothing. So
because they can't say anything, because it's a lose-lose for them to say anything. If they say anything, about the protesters needing to stop or whatever, then now they're not down for the cause, okay? And they got to be down for the cause, because that's what their constituency is about. And then the people that are getting outraged over the stuff, that want it stopped, unless you address it directly, like Florida, okay? Florida, Governor DeSantis says, we're not putting up with that crap here, the sheriff, we're not putting up with this crap here. I just pulled up the statement because I loved the statement. It opens from President Sass, former senator of Nebraska. This is not complicated. The University of Florida is not a daycare, and we do not treat protesters like children. They knew the rules, they broke the rules, and they'll face the consequences. So you gotta love it. You gotta love it. Did he not hammer that straight? That is a right nail right straight on the head. I mean, he took that home in one shot. That's exactly what every university president should have said. These are not children, okay? Yeah, mom and daddy may be spending $100,000, but they are adults.
Well, he talks about how they've told the protesters, they gave them a couple days, and it says for days, the University Police Department patiently and consistently reiterated the rules, and today individuals who refused to comply were arrested after UPD gave multiple warnings and multiple opportunities to comply. So they're not taking it. And then UT also. My friend's son's at UT getting a master. So, I was like, is he okay? What's happening? And he was livid because obviously he's a conservative. And these people are fake. They're fakers. They're not real students. And now they're ruining, like, all these kids have had to study because it's been finals week and stuff. And, they haven't been able to do what they need to do because they've been overrun by gross green-haired people, demanding food. And now at Princeton, they're on a hunger strike.
That was one of the funniest comments I heard, was some stupid student protest girl standing there in front of the microphone saying, you need to bring us food. You need to bring us vegan and gluten-free food because we're on the meal plan. And I just started laughing my ass off. It's like, do you realize how stupid you sound, You're on the meal plan.
Okay, well, and then Clay Travis from Clay and Buck put this out, and I shared this everywhere too. He said, I bet there are a lot of you out there now who are in that hiring universe, and when you see a University of Florida resume, you kind of perk up a little bit, and then you see a Columbia resume, you cringe. You kind of cringe a little bit because of what you've been seeing on those campuses. And bottom line is, everybody's going to want Gator grads, because they didn't tolerate this. But that takes me back to UNC and the flag. So Isaac, his name's Isaac Malay, was on Laura Ingraham, and that clip of those boys went viral, and he was amazing on Laura Ingraham because he's Jewish, and he's like, we can't allow this. He goes, 2 hours away was where all of those 4 marshals were killed, and it was at half-mast on their college campus for those marshals. So they're like, we're not tolerating this. And so he was wonderful. So I did message him on X and then LinkedIn. And so he said, he's going to try to do it, but he's being overrun by national news, which I need,
right.
we bow to national news because he was on fire. And what a great guy. What a great guy. So we'll get him on here. But it's just been out of control. They're destroying these campuses. I'm sure you saw inside the building of Columbia, stuff's moved all over the place. It's a mess. And again, the university has to clean it up. But you know what caused the university to allow the cops to finally go in was that someone said that a terrorist's wife was in the building. Some Muslim terrorist, I guess, was supposedly in the building, and that's when the board of trustees came together and said, you can enter into Columbia, because they probably would have let this go on for days. But now there's a wife of a terrorist in the building. So what is wrong with these people? And you've got college students there, John.
Because we're confusing what free speech is all about. The protesters are, we can do anything in the name of free speech. That's BS. You can't do anything. You can't break the law. You can't destroy property. Those are crimes. Okay, that's not free speech. That's criminal behavior. And that's the problem is these idiots in the universities, the presidents in particular, the liberal, as they call them now, the poison ivies, refuse to recognize criminal behavior. When you go in and break into a building, that's criminal. That's breaking and entering, okay? That's not peaceful protesting. When you stop students from going into the library by threatening them, that's not peaceful protesting. That's an assault. And that's why they need to draw the line. You see these baby protesters, crying.
Oh, one that got arrested, yeah.
The one guy, the state police, they put the zip tie handcuffs on him, right? And I think the guy was a state policeman, was escorting him down the sidewalk. And as usual, if you're under arrest by the police, they've got their hands on you, okay? So this guy had a grip on his arm. The policeman had a hold of his arm, his bicep, and was leading him down the sidewalk. And the little baby's crying, "You're hurting me! You're hurting me!"
Well, no. The best one was the UT cop with the hat, the state trooper, picked up the
that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the protester's walking along crying,
I thought you were talking about
hurting
UCLA.
Me. and then he drops to the ground. The protester drops to the ground. And the trooper just reaches down and picks him up, puts one arm around his leg and one under, and carries him off like a freaking baby, and he's crying, "You're hurting me! You're hurting me!" It's like, nobody's hurting you.
But okay,
You're
so
doing
Princeton,
it yourself,
the Princeton students. It's just mad cat. So the Princeton students were dressed in Islamic attire, and they announced their hunger strike. "We will abstain from all food and drink except water until the following demands are met." So here are their demands: divest from Israel, cultural boycott. What does that mean? Complete amnesty from all criminal charges. And they all look like twits. They all have the black and white. There's a name for the Palestinian scarf.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it is. But, I mean, what the hell? And then did you see all the ones that were converting like supposedly hundreds of American students are converting to Islam, which I find hard to believe. So I don't know what's wrong with these people. They need to put down the weed.
Well, first off, what they should do is they should all be expelled, and then they should take Iran up on their offer for free college education, because Iran came out and said any American students that get kicked out of college, for protesting for Palestine, come here and we'll give you a free college education. It's like, okay, let's see how long that lasts, as far as going to Iran and seeing you go to Iran and start protesting about vegan this and oh, by the way, let's start talking about homosexual treatment and DEI and all that. And we'll see how long you end up staying in Iran before you start crying because, by the way, they hang people that are homosexuals, you get executed in that country.
Right. Which they're so dumb they don't even know. They probably couldn't find Iran on the map, honestly.
They're that hell, ask them to point out where Palestine is on the map, Free Palestine. It's like, show me where Palestine is on the map somewhere. Please show me any map
I've been very simplistic in some of my acts. I said, no, we are not meeting your demands. You're not in charge. And I've got like 4,000, views and so many likes. It's been insane. But no, we've got to push back. We have to push back. And it's just crazy.
Well, I think they're just being useful idiots at this point, Veronica, because half the people, I saw a statistic yesterday that said half the people that were arrested out of the New York episode were not even students. Okay, they were not students at that campus.
Well, and why are they? Because when you're on a campus, you have to have your campus ID, and it's time to check these campus IDs. And are we going to put up with this shit like for the rest of the summer? I don't want to deal with it, honestly. And where are these governors and mayors?
If they want to stand out there on the sidewalk or whatever with a sign or a bullhorn and protest, have at it. That's America. That you've got the right to do that, okay? Where your right to do that stops is when it infringes on somebody else's right.
Somebody's graduation. And, my children worked very hard when they were in college, and I can't imagine some dumbass, green-haired, nose ring, tattooed, twit taking that away. So they need some they need some mothers to roll in there. Now I'm almost a Southern mother. I'll whoop your ass, boy.
Grits, huh? Them girls raised in the South.
Well, I've been here now 10 years, so I say y'all. I said I'd never say grits, it, but I will kick your ass and then we'll give you a blessing. So,
but it's I think what you're seeing is practice and a preview. And as Nick seriously said, it may go on all summer, in events. But the problem with it going on all summer is it's damaging the Democrats. It's not damaging Trump. It's actually making Trump and Trump supporters stronger. And it's damaging the Democrats because it's splitting. There's a split in the Democrat Party. You've got the anti-Jewish, anti-Semitic crowd, and we're talking AOC and that whole,
she has been... you want to throw up.
Anti-Semitic, okay? Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, all of them are just openly flat-ass anti-Semitics. And you've got that group of the, as they call it, Detroitistan, The Democrats can't win the presidency without Detroitistan voting for Biden. And that's their fear.
Well, we just had Nick Searcy from the War on Truth, and he clearly stated 2020 was stolen. It's that election was stolen. This one's probably going to be stolen too. That's why they're not changing out Biden and stupid Kamala. Which when I hear people say that, I literally physically my stomach cringes. Because
there's nobody to change out to, though, Veronica. That's the problem. They don't have a bench. Well, Gavin Newsom does not have a chance in hell of being elected nationwide in this country.
Yeah, it is pretty pathetic.
He's a pretty face, but his record in California is so horrible. America will never settle for it because America does not want to be California. So who are they left with? Pittsburgh? Are you joking me? Yeah, he's got a lot of money and a lot of, recognition because of the family name and all that stuff. but he's an idiot for a governor. And as I said, go down the line of all the Democrats, and there's nobody. They have no bench. They have no bench.
Well, and so we're stuck with this. I mean, the man's barely making it. I mean, did you watch
Mayor
the?
Pete?
Did
Mayor
you watch
Pete the heir apparent?
Oh Lord, no. I saw a picture of him with Kamala, and I'm like, Dumb and Dumber. No. I just saw that this week. Did you watch what is it called when all the press come together, that dinner, and he was telling jokes?
Oh, the White House Correspondents' dinner. Oh my God!
He was definitely he took some medicine to get through that because it was way past his bedtime. They show him eating salad, and he was like a toddler.
Was that
let's
funny?
miss his
was
mouth.
That funny?
Oh, I mean, it's horrific. I mean,
It looked like somebody that had a seizure or something, and was trying to learn the basics of using a fork.
It was like a toddler missing his mouth. I mean, it was horrible. It was literally awful. So,
but now he can't go to the helicopter by himself. He's not allowed to walk by himself to the helicopter. He has to be surrounded by aides. So I think his condition, it's deteriorated seriously bad in the last 6 months.
Substantially.
So I don't. It's going to be even worse. They're probably not going to do the debates. I mean, they're already.
That was the one thing he came out and said with Stern. We talked about it. He'll do the debate. I'm like, lock in the date now. Go.
They're gonna. There's the staff. The staff is going to stop it. They will not let him debate. They'll find something about Trump to say. He's going to get convicted in New York. Okay, that judge is going to find him guilty. Period.
It's
okay,
so gross.
It's all rigged. It's all rigged. And as soon as they say he's guilty of a felony, we're not going to debate a felon. Yeah, that's exactly what's coming.
That's going to be the
they'll
excuse.
find any excuse to not do the debate.
I wanted to read you. I just sent you this judge's picture. You got to see. You have to look at the picture, John. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
But there's a judge in Seattle, Andrea Jarman. Okay, I don't go after people on looks because they're always going after my red hair. But she dismissed all the criminal trespass charges against half of the pro-Palestine activists who blocked I-5 for 5 hours. And she said, I'm a Muslim. I'm an African American. I'm a cisgender female. I'm a single parent. I'm a divorcee. I was raised by a Catholic white woman. I have 7 children. And this is a really good statement. I have embraced my Roe versus Wade rights without shame. I'm a proud ally of LGBTQ community. I speak with a speech impediment. I'm a former homeless youth and a survivor of child abuse and domestic violence. I was sheltered from the streets by United Indian Labate. I don't know what that means. Every day, at least one of these identities or associations are under attack. So the person that posted this said she checks every DEI box known to man. And if you see her picture, I can't. It's a Star Wars character.
Is she a judge? She's a
judge? Freaking judge. Does that
imply she has a law degree somehow?
Apparently. But she's a cisgender female, which I didn't know what that meant, when I was trying to look for a new fancy job. And like 10 identities came up one day, and I was like, what is that? Like when you have to Google what it is, which I'm a cisgender female, because it means me, whatever that means. I don't know. You got to look it up. But apparently I'm that. I'm like, well, this obviously isn't the company I want to work for because I never even Googled Two Spirits because I was like, what the hell is that? Okay, I'm out. But this is a liberal judge on the bench, so I had to share that with you because I was mortified.
Well, I'm just the thing that I find interesting about that list of plights or whatever, was did it say she had 9 children?
7.
7 children, but she's a practitioner of abortion rights.
Yeah, so she's probably taken out a few.
She embraces her Roe versus Wade, and it's like, but she's got 7 kids, so she must have not been practicing Roe versus Wade too much. Unless, I don't know, but speech and I'll tell you an interesting story. I used to be on the 14th Circuit Judicial Nominating Commission, and we went to one of their annual confabs down in Tampa. And I was having lunch with Justice Ben Overton. And one of the things that we were talking about was qualification for judges, and should you take into, because the JNC recommends people that are going to be the new judges to the governor, and the governor picks one of them. You nominate 3 people. Anyways, one of the things that came up was should a judge's speech be, speech pattern be considered? And it's like, and my opinion is yes, because there was an issue with the lady judge in, I believe it was Tampa. It was Hispanic, but her accent was so heavy people could not understand her. And I was like, this is absolutely critical. If you're a judge and you're sitting up on a bench, and you could potentially sentence somebody to death, and they don't understand what you're saying because your accent is so bad. I think that is a qualification that should be looked at, because the judge is in a unique position. They can have you killed. They can have you put to death. That's a unique power. And so you need to make sure that we're going the extra mile to make sure that the judges are understood, that their words are understood by the people, that are before them. And that was kind of a controversial position to take, because you get all the DEI stuff out there. It's Hispanic, you can't discriminate, because they've got an accent. It's like, yes, you can. If the defendant can't understand what you're saying, if the lawyers don't understand,
or you're going to need a translator.
Right. And you shouldn't need a judge. Well,
this woman's a fool, and this is from your West Coast.
Well, it's exact West Coast. California and New York and Chicago, they can all go to hell in a handbasket. And I hope they do, because that's what the people voted for in those places. All I can say is, liberals, don't come to Florida, don't come to Georgia, don't come south.
We don't want you. But I do want to go through some of the stack in our afterburner just to talk. You sent me the 8 types of Democrats and Republicans in the House, and they analyzed their patterns. And lovely Congressman Neil Dunn, who we don't ever see anywhere, I guess he's a compromised conservative, Yep. And I talked about that. He came out on the Republican Liberty Caucus list as ranked 55 percentile, and can't even. 55 doesn't. They stop at 75. So he's getting an F. He's getting an F.
He's a milquetoast Republican. He's not a leader. Name a bill that Neil Dunn has introduced. I don't think there are any. Well, he's not up there pushing for anything. He's up there. He's a go along to get along guy. That's what he is. Go along to get along.
And we're done with that. And I'm done with Dunn. I came up with that
not a leader.
A couple weeks ago, and when we had Rhonda on this morning, Woodward is running against him. She's sharp as a tack, and I'm excited because I think if we send her up there, she's going to fight the fight, and doesn't need.
I realize she's a woman. Okay, Rhonda's a woman. Okay, obviously. I will say I think she's got a pair. Okay.
Oh, she's got a pair. Oh yes.
I think she won't have any problem going up there and kicking some butt.
Plus, last night she went with me to the Military Affairs Committee. We've got the big air show here on the Gulf. A salute to the Gulf and the Panhandle with all the Thunderbirds, and so just talking with her, she was meeting people as being a MAC member, and she was telling people she was running, and they're like, oh, you were a principal? Oh my gosh, you'll be perfect up there in D.C. You know how to handle children and parents, crazy parents. And plus she's a business owner, a very successful business owner now. But it's just so funny because I think having what she's going to bring to the table in her toolbox, having been a principal, probably is going to set her up for success. And she doesn't care because she has money. She doesn't, she's going up there just to clean house, which is very honorable. And that's
what you need. You need people that aren't going up there for a job. And I don't know what Neil Dunn's motivation is. I honestly don't. He doesn't seem to have any. He doesn't seem to have any passion. That's the thing that's missing is passion. And the only way we're going to fix this mess out there, Veronica, is to send people up there. Matt Gaetz is passionate about what he wants to change.
Marjorie Taylor
Greene
is everywhere.
Right.
And here's the thing about Congressman Dunn. His children are grown. He can be everywhere if he wanted to be. You know, I know you
Right.
got to pace yourself. We all have to pace ourselves, no matter your age. But Congressman Gaetz is freaking everywhere. So, and that was the thing. One
Right,
of the,
Jim Jordan, another
he's
pack.
everywhere.
That's what we need, and that's what we don't have, and that's what I want.
Well,
so,
in the stack of stuff, because we know Don Gaetz is running again. And
for
it
Senate.
says 8 former Senate presidents endorsed Don Gaetz, who's running to be a senator again for the Florida legislature. So, but somebody commented to me this week. They're like, "Why is he running? He's already served his time." So I don't know why he's back. I can't believe there's not somebody over there that can, run with this. No offense to Don Gaetz.
It's not so much. The thing I really liked about Don Gaetz, he was a businessman, and I don't know if you remember when he became superintendent of schools over in Walton County, but he was a retired businessman, and he made a lot of money, doing hospice. He kind of invented the hospice business and made a lot of money off of it, and so he was basically a retired businessman, and the community leaders came to him and said, "Would you mind running for the school board, not superintendent of schools over here, and fixing the schools?" And he did. He said, "Yeah, I'll step up and do it." And he turned their schools into A schools. Okay, I mean, and he did it with common sense stuff, like sending, instead of sending a note home, for the teachers from a teacher to a kid. He sent the teacher to the home, okay, to talk to the parent, stuff like that. It's like, get off your butt and do something. And so, then he ran for the Senate, and he was well received. But when he was running, he was willing, even though he's got hundreds of millions of dollars, Veronica, he went out. I think he said he knocked on 17 or 18,000 doors. Okay. That's
Wow.
a candidate that cares about what he's doing and understands why he's running. And that's what I like about him. He's not sitting back buying an election, okay? He's willing to get out and do the work. And I think that's why so many people respect him. And when he was president of the Senate, I went over there for his what do they call it? I forget what they call it. When he got his commission,
like inauguration.
Inauguration, whatever it is, for the Senate. I went over there and sat in the gallery and listened, and it really, he was well respected by the Democrats, even though they didn't agree on everything. They respected him, and I think that's saying a whole lot. And the fact that they've had all these, I think it's never been done that you've had 8 presidents endorse somebody to
that's
run.
great.
Run it.
Well, I think he's in it to win it, and he's going to win it, so that's good. But I really think I've learned in the last couple weeks with Mayor Sheldon being taken out, and then Mayor Rowan took out Mayor Brudnicki from Panama City that had been the mayor for 12 years. People want change. They're tired of sending people that don't do anything. They're tired of sending people that just want to go to make sure their bank account's big and go to the cocktail party because we need you fighting, and so I'm over it, and I want Rhonda to take it.
I think Don's a fighter. Rhonda, we need a fighter like Rhonda. Matt Gaetz. There was a story this week that I had laughed when I read it because it was so Matt Gaetz. Okay, so he's got an opponent. He's got a somebody's primarying him. Right? They got another Republican running against him.
I laughed at that. I even commented on his ex, going, "Good luck, buddy."
And the guy's name is Aaron Dimmock. And so, he files and he runs against him. Well, he doesn't. First thing when you learn in politics is go out and get all the websites that have your name on them. Okay, so
I think wait, John, his real name is Aaron. It's Aaron Dipshit. I think his name's wrong.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, so Matt's campaign went out and bought up all the Aaron Dimmock variations of websites, and then they started putting political ads on them about what links to his real record about who this guy really is, And I'm laughing. I was like, we're talking campaign tactics 101 here. Any idiot running for if this is the guy's level of intelligence as a candidate,
I think Gaetz has a staff that's kick-ass because they're great at getting him scheduled everywhere. When he does sound bites or his own stuff, it's immediately out on social media. So yeah, he's doing great. Then there was the story about has DeSantis' comeback already begun? Because guess what? Trump and DeSantis had a kumbaya meeting. I was so excited. So they're rekindling the romance. And we need that romance. I said we need, I commented on X everywhere. We need these two warriors on the same team, people. And why can't we have a strong DeSantis and a strong Trump? So
well, it's interesting. Even this the Sunburn, newsletter, which is sort of leftist in a way because they're related to Politico and all those type things, the Satis media people. But even they're making a comment that it's like it looks like Governor DeSantis is back on his game, and we saw that this past week with Kamala Harris, in Jacksonville because we had the 6-week abortion ban started this past week in Florida. Mm-hmm. So come on, the Democrats, that's their strategy. Their campaign strategy is murdering babies.
Which on that note, I think whose website? It might have been on. It was the former priest, Father Frank Pavone, posted a video of like inside the womb with a baby. It was a freaking baby. It's a freaking baby. I'm just over this. So Dems, you suck. These are children. So I'm fighting. I couldn't even watch the video because I was cringing thinking, because it was actually like a pro-abortion person had posted this video inside the womb. It's a live human. I was cringing. Why do we need to kill babies?
Well, but that's what Kamala was in Jacksonville she was over there with Nikki Fried, promoting this stuff and
sick of these
and
dumb
talking about
women that have never had babies either. They're stupid.
Yeah.
They've probably aborted them themselves. That'll be the next thing that'll come out of her mouth, how she had one. But also part of the story this week, so their kumbaya together, was Bloomberg released a story, John, and I'm sure you saw it, saying that Trump has narrowed down his VP pick to 4. And for vice president, it was rumored to be Senator J.D. Vance, Governor Doug Burgum of North Dakota, Senator Marco Rubio, and Senator Tim Scott. And the only one I liked was Rubio. I mean, J.D. Vance is nice, but he doesn't have the name recognition. Governor Doug Burgum, I didn't even know who the hell he was when he was running for president from North Dakota. He's a billionaire. Except after he was done, Fox kept playing ad after ad after ad. I'm like, oh my gosh, dude. And then Tim Scott, I know. So, and then we definitely know Kristi Noem now has been scratched off the list, because she killed Cricket.
I put one of the political cartoons of the week. I know it's a little early to get there, but the political cartoon of the week, I put one in there just for you, Veronica. And I thought, okay, Air Force.
I wrote, ha.
You'll appreciate this one, so.
Yes, you need to talk about it. It's Linus and Charlie Brown.
It's a Charlie Brown cartoon. It's got Linus and Charlie Brown and Snoopy, okay? So Snoopy's got his Red Baron garb on, and he's sitting on top of the doghouse there. And Linus says to Charlie Brown, wow, the Red Baron did a lot of damage. And Charlie Brown says, it was a Kristi Noem drive-by, and it shows the doghouse all shot up with bullets. So I saw that, I was like,
yes, and she's trying to walk it all back. She's trying to walk it all back, and I'm like, I mean, granted, I had a dachshund that kept trying to, like, bite my daughter. They, a baby, a puppy, and then the puppy didn't like the baby, but I gave the dog away to somebody that didn't have a toddler trying to do dental exams in a dachshund's mouth. So I don't know.
It's one of those political faux pas you can't get back from.
Well,
okay,
she can't undo it now.
But it's like the potato thing,
Plus, the left's always trying to take people out. And look, they've taken her out on a stupid issue here, but she opened the door. So. Well,
that's right. She gave him the ammunition. She just never. It tells you something, and in my mind, it also helps inform me as far as making a decision. If you don't have the kind of judgment to know that you shouldn't ever put that in a book. I understand what her point was, okay?
Well, people
Believe
spend
me, I understand
billions
it,
on their pets in this country. You know what I'm saying? We're dog
That's exactly
lovers.
right. People will spend
it's not like you go to
$20,000 to
Korea
save
and they're
their
eating
dog,
dogs.
okay?
Yeah,
Right.
I know people that have done it, multiple people now.
People will spend more money on their dog than they will on their kid to save them, okay? That's just, unfortunately, reality of the world. But you don't go in there and talk about what happens on farms and out in the country, because most people don't understand it, and
we're not wired for that.
You
know, I'm a city girl, so I don't want any animal suffering. Well, the other story,
it's like taking a video of somebody going out and chopping the head off a chicken and then stripping the feathers off and cooking it. It's like, okay, so you go to the grocery store and you pick up the chicken.
I'm still going to try to go to Chick-fil-A after our show today. Don't ruin it for me.
Okay, just remember that chicken at one time was alive. Okay,
and somebody had to kill it. They want to take my Chick-fil-A away. Well, the other story in our stack of stuff was, it says, will looser marijuana rules help Biden move the needle with young voters? And I actually thought it said, will loser marijuana rules help Biden move the needle with young voters? I honestly, that my brain went to loser, because that's what this is all about. He's trying to make, marijuana reclassified as a less dangerous drug. But let me tell you, people, when you learn about marijuana today in 2024, it is not like marijuana in 1964. And it's awful, and it's a gateway drug. And what is wrong with these Dems? They want everybody to not pay attention, to be on welfare, not work, sit on their ass, and be high all day.
That's exactly right. They want the government to take care of them from birth to death. They want everything to be 100% government. Government does not do anything right, okay? Period. Explanation. I don't care what it is that the government's involved in. It's screwed up from the word go, The military, we used to do good military, okay? We don't do good military anymore because we're now woke military. So, it's just on and on. Name one thing that the government does good. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Well, I'm very worried about marijuana because, we had our Representative Griff Griffiths on, and it's going to be on the ballot here in Florida. And I am fine as a breast cancer survivor with it being medically okay. But people are smoking it, and they're smoking it around kids, and they don't have a medical card, and then guess what? They're lazy asses, and they don't want to work. And how are we going to get our country back if everybody's smoking pot at all hours of the day? Plus, it's not
horrific. Just the smoking the pot and being high, but it's the side effects, the psychosis that's being generated.
Yes.
And you get the interactions of these kids on Ritalin stuff, and then they smoke pot. I mean, we're in uncharted territory here about psychological damage to people, and I just don't get why we're willing. I can't say that. I don't get why we're willing to sacrifice generations of young people, because it's been going on in the black community for a long time, where we have these cesspools of city schools, these big city schools that primarily educate black children, and they are the worst schools in the world. And we spend billions and billions of dollars on them because the teacher unions want the money, and they could give a damn about whether the kids learn anything or not. Every successful big city program where they've come in with private money and private people, the charter schools basically, where they've been successful, the teachers unions in every big city try to kill them. And who are they damaging? They are damaging the kids. It's not the charter school that's being damaged. It's the kids that are supposed to be learning, because when the charter school goes away, all they're left with is this cesspool of a school where they're never going to learn any kind of life skills or life capabilities, and they are going to be condemned to the same cycle of poverty that they've always been in. It's sad. It is so sad.
Well, and they'll all be high. They'll all be high. So we're definitely going to do a little faster round here, but Marjorie Taylor Greene wants to vote out Speaker Mike Johnson. I'm a no-go on this. I love her, but we don't have time, and I put that all over X.
Right.
We've got bigger fish to fry right now, MTJ.
Right. And they have, it's like when you ask, it's like, okay, so we're going to get rid of Johnson. Who are we going to vote for? well, we don't have anybody that everybody can agree on.
No,
it's like
no.
you got one vote.
Table it.
One
Table
vote.
it. No, I'm done with that. I love that woman normally, but on this issue, no. The other one, hot story, Trump campaign calls debate commission refusal to reschedule unacceptable, goes directly to the TV networks. And so the debates are trying to kick them off, mid-September after millions have already voted. How convenient, dumbasses.
Yep, exactly.
So, this is just ludicrous. He needs to be debating in July, and let's go from
should
there.
Be right. It should start. The first one should be like 2 weeks after the conventions are over.
Yes.
Let's have a debate.
Yes.
2 weeks after the conventions are over.
This story infuriates me with my red hair. It's on fire. Fire, baby. Get the fire hose. Biden regime could be set to import Gaza refugees into the U.S. Okay, well, they're already coming through the damn border. I don't know who the hell you are. Now we're going to let these people come in here that we don't know who they are. Isn't it convenient? All those countries over there don't want any of these people,
right.
Which I want them to land. I want them to be safe. If they're not terrorists, I want children to have food and water and housing. But why are we the dumping ground? Nobody ever cares about Americans anymore. We are second-class citizens in our own freaking country, John.
Well, that's on top of the other story that broke this week, and that was that the Biden administration, you don't even have to walk across the border anymore, okay? The Biden administration is having flights from these countries, and they're bringing the immigrants, flying them into the United States, and guess what the number one state target of those flights is? Florida.
Florida, baby.
Right. They're flying them into Florida.
No, I'm done. I'm done with this. It's sheer I have to say this every time because I don't want people to think I hate immigrants. My mother was an immigrant. My mother-in-law was an immigrant. My father-in-law was an immigrant. Spain, Scotland, Hungary, all came legally. So I'm done. And then if you meet legal immigrants, they don't want this. They don't want this shit anymore. So exactly. I'm just tired of it. I don't know who you are. Everybody's running around, and we had Rhonda Woodward, who's running for Congress as a business owner. How does she compete with trying to have legal people working in her business when all these people are undercutting her? So.
And we get, you can have quality. I'm not against immigration. Chef Mel is an immigrant, okay?
Yes.
He did it the right way, though.
And you can have a worker visa. Then I know who you are. I know who you are. So, okay. And then you sent me the left with no choice. Columbia expresses regret, as they call them, the NYPD. We talked about that. And the anarchy. It's because there was a wife of a terrorist in the school. Damn it. If I was a parent, I put on X, all of these parents at Columbia deserve a refund. I'd be going, write me my damn $90K check so I can go to TJ Maxx and spend it. Because the stress that these parents have been on, because, kids fly in, they live from other states. My kids are in New York. It's a couple flights away, but it takes time to get up there. I'd be petrified.
Well, it's all rich liberal kids is what these are. They're spoiled.
Well, not all of them are. I know some up there now that aren't. And I actually texted one mother and I said, if your daughter needs a place to land, I've got 2 children up there, not in the DMZ zone. These are freaking DMZ zones, John.
But you should be more concerned. I'm not concerned about the protest. I'm concerned about the what these kids are being taught. The faculty, Columbia faculty, passed a resolution calling on the president of the university to resign because she wasn't allowing the protesters free reign. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? They've got the quote professors, lining up in their orange vests to block people from going into the zone, and it's like this is insanity. Literally,
when is
the
it going to
crazies are running the place.
Because
and what are they teaching these kids? What are they teaching
I
them?
don't know. I don't know, because we don't need more liberals that don't have faith in family and want to give everything away for free. Yet you and I have to pay for it. So,
but at least with the protest, you get to see and hear what they're saying. Okay, in the classroom, you don't get to hear.
Well, I know this when there was liberal professors at UF. I know this. Someone was taking a extreme weather, and all they were promoting was climate change, and that it was our fault. And then that's what I love our weather guy Ross. He says that climate change is not real. I mean, we have to treat our environment nice, of course, but we don't have to be so radical. I don't want exhaust going everywhere. I've been to China. It's horrible. They have no rules over in China, and you do have to wear a mask.
The thing you have to understand, Veronica, is the agenda of the climate idiots is the elimination of the human race. Humans are the problem, okay?
Well, they've already eliminated 65 million babies that haven't had a chance. And when you see these ultrasounds these days, they're absolutely incredible. Well, the other story,
you get rid of the babies, you get rid of the old people, because you don't give them medical care because they cost too much money. So it's almost back to the movie Soylent Green. I don't know if you ever remember seeing that movie a long time ago, but it was about a society where people weren't allowed to live very long, and they were basically killed and then turned into food, believe it or not, because they could. I'm serious.
Not go there, John. I need my Chick-fil-A. You're trying to make it so I don't go there. I have been going to. It's been a month of in the gym.
I think it starred Charleston Heston, if I remember right. But it was just one of those movies.
It would have been good acting.
About how bad society can get,
Well, the last story I want to talk about is the most feared and least known political operative in America.
Oh yeah,
and Susie Wiles, and you actually told me offline that you thought my story was like hers. Do tell, because when I was the Trump chair in 2015-16, this woman was at the top of the food chain, and everybody did respect her. So how would I even compare to that? Oh, I got to hear this. And it is a long. John likes to
it's
send
a long
me stuff.
Story. Yeah, this was
that
in
is
Politico.
like my own novel.
Yeah, it was a story in Politico magazine on Friday, and it's like 10 or 12 pages. It's a long read, but it kind of goes over who is Susie Wiles and where did she come from. The thing I didn't know, her dad was Pat Summerall, the sports announcer. That was her dad.
Oh, so famous. Okay.
And it was interesting because there were a lot of comparisons between her dad, Pat Summerall, and Donald Trump about their personalities, not the money thing, but who they are as people and personalities. And she's probably considered one of the smartest political operatives in the country right now. I mean, she's just absolutely on the game, and she understands that you need to let Trump be Trump. That you can't package him, you can't wrap him up, you can't make him stop doing stuff, and you need to tailor the campaign around that and build on it because Trump's policies, what makes him popular are his policies. And what makes Trump's policies is Trump, okay? It's the things he believes in. He believes in a free market economy. He believes in hiring the best people to get the job done. And it's all this good stuff about America, and that's what she builds. She builds on this stuff. And she doesn't get out in front. She doesn't try to be the star. She knows. So many people try, and, right. And
they'll walk on your back to do it.
Right, she's not competing with his campaign, So her job is to make him look good, and she understands that. And so it goes through this whole thing about how she grew up, the Reagan years. I mean, she's been around for a while, so it's not like she's just started this. And it talks about things like her ability to read the room when she walks into the room and sees who's there and understands the dynamics of the room. And I understand that because I kind of study the same thing. When you go in there in a room with a politician, I always like to watch the dynamics of who's doing what and when. And it's always an interesting psychological kind of thing. But anyway, she's very, very, very good at that kind of stuff. She got Rick Scott elected. Okay, let's just be honest about it. She got Ron DeSantis elected. They would have never been elected if they hadn't had her in the position that she was in to run their campaigns. And that's just who she is. So she's got a track record, unlike a lot of political operatives, who get out there and I was campaign manager for this. I did this. This guy won because of me, and all this kind of stuff. That's not her. So that sets her apart from all these people. And her record is one of success. And it takes people that understand you're not the candidate. It's not your name on the ballot. And that's where so many political, campaign managers, consultants all get.
I've met so many in the 10 years, and I think they all think that they should be the one in the seat at some point.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Because I remember when Congressman Sutherland lost, and I've talked about this story before to people, and it was also Trumbull's. So Trumbull and Sutherland had a joint party. Never do that when you're running a campaign. So that was my first welcome to politics. So Trumbull won that night, and then Sutherland lost. So it was this wedding and a funeral all rolled into one. and so I remember Trumbull's people were so excited, the room so happy, and then the Sutherland people came in, they were all like crying like that. And I had helped that campaign. I tried to do all I could, but people didn't dig deep. I did my part for sure. And then Congressman Sutherland gave this speech, the concession speech, and then he kind of raised his chief of staff up as a Simba baby to be the next person. And I'm like, what? You're the chief of staff. So, it was, when you're in a supportive role, you need to do everything to take care of that person. And I guess I'm very good in the supportive role, because I've worked for generals for 20 years, that they need you to have their back and not be thinking about, I'm going to be the general. I never thought I was going to be the general. I was trying to make them look good on TV, on radio, their event, their air show for 150,000 people. Now, don't get me wrong. You and I know how to be leaders. We've been leaders. I've run so many things in my life. But, when it's your time, it's your time. But when you're supporting these candidates or generals, it's not about you. You're trying to get them elected to fight for, especially now, the fight for our nation and country and border. I don't know. Every week I'm disgusted, John. Who are these people flying in that I don't know who they are?
They're there. It's a money machine. You have to understand the money machine and how all the ad buys work and how people take commissions on the ad buys, and it's a business. Okay, you have to understand the business of politics.
Well, we know it's billions of dollars to become president now.
Right. Follow the my rule one: follow the money if you want to know the truth in politics.
Yeah.
And like I've always, my success has always been around the fact that when I advise people on stuff, technical matters in particular, I give them the unvarnished truth about the stuff. This is good, this is bad.
Well, and I always did that with the generals, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and they need to know the ugly, because that can change your messaging and your decision.
And it's like, you're the one that's in the room with the other people that you have to convince or not convince to do something or not do something. And I can only give you my best advice, and take it or leave it. You're not going to hurt my feelings if you don't take my advice, because you may know something I don't.
Yeah.
So I may be giving you advice that you say, well, that's never going to fly because of X, and I don't know that because I don't know about X. So again, it's give your best advice, do your best, and have credibility with people. And if you do that,
well, and you have to be honest and integrity oriented. And I was telling somebody
you can't buy your integrity
this
back.
week is that's what people that was the hardest thing, because I've been running in the Republican political circle for almost 10 and a half years, and I was so naive because I really thought people were honest and didn't lie, steal, cheat, and they're Christian. And no, the Republicans, we have a lot of pieces of shiza, and they will lie, steal, cheat, stab you in the back. So that's what's been most disappointing, because you have these platforms that you pretend, and you're not always telling the truth. So
I'll tell you one thing that I'm one of the things, pride is a bad thing. Okay. Remember the liturgy of okay, so not speaking of being prideful, but anyway, one of the cherished things I have is a letter on congressional letterhead. It was a recommendation for a job, and the comment in there was, if I told you I would do something, it was good. You can be guaranteed it was going to get done.
Yeah,
and I think that was probably one of the best things that anybody's ever said about me. And it's like Thank you very much. I certainly
Well, that's why we
appreciate
get
that.
along so well, because we're
Right.
doers and we have each other's back.
Yeah.
And we're trying to save America, even with the Chinese kicking us off all morning here.
Eventually, enough of us will get critical mass, and we will save America. Okay.
I hope.
I will never give up. I will never give up.
I want.
Rush said, "Never give up." Okay.
I know. I've been missing Rush so much.
You may be down low, but don't ever give up.
Well, the last political cartoon is, oh my gosh, that you sent me. It's all of these green-haired. One's actually showing her gut, has a tattoo, says "I love Soros." The other one has the Jewish Star of David crossed out like it's a Ghostbusters.
Now you're presuming that's a woman, okay?
Oh, okay. I think you're right. It's not. Oh my gosh.
It's the gut sticking out over the pants,
Okay.
over the bike pants.
Oh.
The spandex pants that should tell you that.
Oh my gosh. Oh. And then it's Biden with holding a sippy cup. All of the protesters have signs that say "Death to America," and then Biden has a little sign that says "Student loan forgiveness," and he says, "I need their vote to save democracy." And of course, the donkey is in a suit and gives him a thumbs up, like, "Yeah, buddy, we'll do it. We'll give everybody everything for free." So if you could see the picture, oh my gosh, now I'm scarred for life because I think that is a man.
Well, the Biden administration wrote off another $6 billion in student loans this week. So on top of all the others.
How is that? I don't
They
understand.
do it by executive fiat. See, this is what I laugh at. End of democracy, right? If Trump gets elected, who's the one that's doing all this stuff by executive fiat? The Biden administration.
I don't know.
Congress isn't anywhere to be found in any of this stuff. Who's lowering the marijuana, the penalties on marijuana? They're doing it by executive fiat.
Yeah.
No, there's no congressional authorization to do any of this stuff. They have no basis in law for doing any of this. They're just doing it to do it.
But once it's done, can we undo it? That's my thing. I hope we can undo it.
Well, the one that you should really be concerned about, Veronica, is the Federal Trade Commission. A lady named Linda Kahn is the chairman of it. Has decided to block a merger between two of the luxury handbag operations. I guess it's the one that owns Jimmy Choo and I guess Kate Spade and Michael Kors and all that. They were trying to merge these companies to compete with Louis Vuitton, who's much larger.
They're not even on the level of Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton has been around for a long, long time, and all those other brands, maybe except for Jimmy Choo, are not at the level of Kate Spade. Is not a Louis. So.
Right, but they're saying that the affordable handbag market would be affected if this merger is allowed to compete with Louis Vuitton, because then American working women wouldn't be able to afford fancy handbags. This is the government, okay? It's none of the government's freaking business.
Stay out of my handbag world. I'm hoping to get Pradas and Goyards and fancy hand-me-downs from my daughter someday.
But the funny part was they're talking about how they need to save these jobs, and it turns out that none of these handbags are made in the United States.
There you go.
In Asia.
There you go. Where Louis are made, in France. Yeah, no. This is just. And they're not even at the same level of a handbag.
Right.
And guess what? Some women work really hard and save their money to buy these handbags. Now, granted, I don't have one because I'm happy to buy a Kate Spade or a Tory, but I'm happy to receive the hand-me-down, John. So, you know.
Well, some of them I occasionally get pictures of. I would like one of these. Okay.
So would I.
Somebody
please,
I know.
Please. No, I saw a beautiful Prada last night at the event I was at, and it was breathtaking.
Really nice.
Oh, and they're quality. So, and I have purchased them as gifts for other people. I've purchased a Gucci, and a YSL, and not for me, but they're quality. So if we ever go national and anybody ever pays me to do this show, which has not happened in 4 years, even though I'm very capable to deliver, I would love to buy it. My first purchase would be probably a Prada, John. So
well, I have to admit, Veronica, for my granddaughter Holly, for her 16th birthday, we went up to New York City, spent a week up in at the Marriott in Times Square, right there. This
you
was
need
before
to
all the
adopt me.
crap, but when Bloomberg.
Yeah.
So we took her shopping, So she took her to Tiffany's and got her like a
Well,
diamond.
it's fun to go to these stores, and you're treated
she got her
well.
gym shoes at Macy's.
Oh my gosh! Please adopt
and somehow
me.
she ended up with a Prada bag,
Oh,
So
I
when
love
we went
you,
out
John. I'm so impressed.
she was all dressed up in
your
her
wingman
shoes.
here wants a Prada. The one I saw last night was amazing. But I don't know if somebody gave them to me, no problem. But some of these purses are nice, the lower level ones, but the nice ones are beautiful. I will say.
The problem is people will steal them from you. My sister,
Yes.
I got her a Prada bag? I'm trying to remember the brand from South Korea.
Okay.
On
They do
my
have
trips.
high-end Prada bags there.
Let's just put it this way. I found out a whole lot about that business, okay?
Yes.
That side of the business, about the back door, the real products that go out the back door, okay?
Because when people are always so mad about that, the knockoffs, but here's the deal. That person's not going to be buying the real one anyways, and so they're spending $100 or $200 on the fake, because they're all over New York. I've seen them all over New York. So good quality fake ones.
If you know the right places, Veronica, they're not knockoffs. Okay.
Oh, do
you
tell.
gotta find the right place.
Okay. All right.
You can get the real thing out the back door.
All right. Well, next Korea trip, I'm putting my order in.
My sister had her Prada bag stolen at work. She stole it because they want Prada bag.
Wow. Well, that's so sad. But I just want to highlight our show. The whole show was incredible today. I always package the whole show, and then I do the breakout interviews. Even though we got bumped off multiple times, we'll package them pretty. We want to thank Chef Mel from the Renaissance French restaurant. Merci beaucoup for coming on, and located on 30A, which is the playground of our rich people, and fabulous food.
Get your reservations early and often.
Yes,
because you're going to need them.
I'm going to need them. It's my new go-to. And then Rhonda Woodward, congressional candidate for CD2. You can find her info at rhondaforfl.com, and she's on Instagram, X, and I'm supporting fighters. I'm tired of Plus I've tried to get Dunn to come to my stuff, and I haven't heard from him or his staff. So they don't even respond to constituents. So I'm done with that.
You're done with Dunn.
Done with Dunn. I came up with that slogan 4 weeks ago. So hopefully somebody will make that into a bumper sticker. Artist Paul Brent, Art Walk's coming up here in the Panhandle this week, so we enjoyed having him on always. And then Nick Searcy, thewarontruth.com. The movie's released this Friday on multiple platforms. Highly encourage you to see it. The trailer is amazing, and he's a famous actor to boot. So, oh my goodness, that was fun. And then be sure to check out, we're on all the platforms, Facebook, Instagram, X. Follow me on X, because now, I'm somebody, almost on 700,000 feeds. And then we're on Spotify, iHeart, iTunes, Podcast Addict, YouTube, LinkedIn, sometimes True Social when I get worn out, so I can't always say I'm on True Social. But we've got some big shows, because Alan Dershowitz, we were supposed to interview this week. That's getting kicked to this coming up week. And then I've become friendly with former Congressman George Santos. So we've got an interview with him on Monday, and I can't wait, because we won't get into all the not everything, but the guy would vote the way we want, and he is a conservative. So does he miss it? What does he think of McCarthy? We can ask a few questions.
It'll be a good chance to talk about the sausage factory in Washington.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's done several of his shows. They're always on Wednesday, Witty Wednesday, and I've actually been invited, and I've been able to talk several times. So he knows me now, and he gets big names on his show. So you may not like him, because I at first I wasn't sure I liked him, but now that I've been listening to the way he thinks about the issues, I'm on board. And then I booked Chuck Perdue, our tax collector, because he's been taking some of my money, and we're going to see where it is. And I just had to get a new license plate because I have a personalized plate, and you have to go in if it's 10 years old because they want to give you a new one. So I had a wonderful experience. So we'll talk about that when he joins us as well. But John, have fun on the farm. Wear your seatbelt on that tractor. And then I'll be at the air show tomorrow, VIP, watching our Thunderbirds in action. If you've never seen an F-22 demo, you got to go see it. And I'm wishing everybody a blessed week and keep fighting the fight.
Okay.
All right,
Veronica
Live.
Yeah,
Bye, Veronica
everybody.
Live is out.